to explain what I'm learning over to you, because I thought this was pretty powerful, what Josh was teaching us this week about affirmations. And I know that we talk about affirmations all the time. You hear on National Wake Up Calls, you should say your positive affirmations. But there's a certain way that we need to be working on how we say our affirmations in a way that's going to help combat some emotions that come up all the time, that tend to be what keeps getting in the way over and over again from us pushing forward towards where we want to be. They keep stopping us, right? And so I first want to start by telling you all, congratulations on still being in the group. Sadly, we had to remove a few people today who weren't keeping up with the tracker. But for the most part, you guys are doing really, really good. Keep up with it. When we do our weekly call out, listen, I want to see all of you at at least a 7 or an 8 score for yourself every week. Okay? The reason why is this is a push to diamond group. We did set a 6-week window on it. And so we are asking you during this time that you show up and meet us where we're at. Like, we've got other leaders that are helping in here, and we're showing up for you. And so I just ask that you guys continue to show up just as much. Okay? Rise to that level and match our energy. Okay? We can't motivate necessarily the unmotivated. Anytime that you have people that you're working with, right? The ones who are going to succeed are the ones that have this will and this drive to win. They want to do it. And so I need you guys to go into this with that kind of attitude. Like, I have this will and this drive to win. Joey sent me a major, big why and epiphany that she's had, that she wants to fight for. She has that will to win. I want you all to just keep that drive inside of you that's going to force you to show up even through the crap that's going to fly at you. Okay? And I know sometimes we can get in this comparison mode. Maybe you're comparing yourself to other people in the group, or just other people within the network in general, or even in our team page. And maybe you're just like, I just don't know if I belong here. Am I good enough to be a diamond? Or am I good enough to be a 5-star diamond coach or an elite coach? I want you to all know that you were selected to be a part of this group. Whether you applied for it or your upline reached out to you because they see something in you, they see you showing up, they know you have big goals. You all were selected to be a part of this group for a reason. So you do belong in this group, and we believe in all of you. So I'm asking you to show up and believe in yourself as well. So affirmations, okay? So we all have these limiting beliefs that are constant, and they're constantly looking for this story to justify our fears and our excuses. Okay? So I'm going to say that again. Our limiting beliefs are constantly looking for a story to justify our fears and excuses. Okay? Our stories are what make us aware of what we are afraid of. Our subconscious mind is is there to protect us, okay? And it's things that we don't even know. Like, if we're not aware of the subconscious and what the subconscious is telling us, and that's what I want to get across to you tonight, is to help you to start becoming more aware of what that subconscious mind is telling you, so that you can hit it head on and learn to combat that. But the subconscious mind is like a dog. It's this wall. It's this barrier that goes up. And just like a dog, you can give a drug dog something to smell, right? Or somebody is searching for a person. That's a better example. Like a drug dog, or a dog that's searching for a missing person. That you can give it a piece of clothing, they can smell it, and they're going to go sniff around, and they're going to find that person. And it's the same thing with our subconscious, right? Like, you give it one little sniff of something negative that's flying at you, and it is just going to look for all the reasons to justify why that negative thinking is correct. And so we have to be aware of that. I was talking about it with my mom, I think it was this morning, and a family member that we have that just keeps talking about, oh, I just hate my job. It just sucks. And I hate all this, blah, blah, blah. And we're just like, oh, I'm just like, I want to just tell him to read all this personal development, because that's all he's focusing on. And every time we talk to him, it's just like he's just mad at the world. Everything sucks because that's all he thinks about is everything he hates about his job. So positivity, this is what was mind-blowing to me, okay? Positivity is not the opposite of negativity. Logic is. So that's what we're going to learn as to the reason why and what that means. So negativity is based in fear, okay? And fears are based in emotions. And so when we let those emotions take over and drive our bus, that's where we're going to be stuck. So we have the subconscious mind over here on one side, and then imagine a barrier, okay? This wall, this brick wall that's up. Here's your subconscious, here's the brick wall. This is called the terror barrier, is what he said, okay? And the subconscious mind has been programmed by things you were told when you're growing up, maybe your upbringing, what your parents taught you, maybe things kids told you in school growing up, you know, people telling you, oh, you're ugly, or you're stupid, or you can't afford that, or you're never going to be able to do that, or that will never work. All these this stuff that you've been programmed in your subconscious mind to change the way that you're thinking. And you may not even necessarily recognize that that's there, okay? But if that subconscious mind was put there, it's there, it tries to protect you. But sometimes it's protecting us in the wrong way from breaking through to the other side. So if we don't understand this, that we have this subconscious mind that is putting all this negative crap in there, then when we can get on team call after team call, and we can leave feeling energized, and we're so excited, and we feel pumped up, and we have this belief, or maybe you left Summit, if you went to Summit and you had this belief and you're so excited, but it's temporary, because if we are not working on the subconscious and we're not recognizing what our limiting beliefs keep telling us, then emotion's going to take over, and that's just short-lived. So we can say all day long, I'm a girl boss, and I'm a diamond coach, and that's good. Like, we want to be positive and we want to cheer each other on. It's like, rah, 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 you can do this. Like, it's okay, girl, just get back up and keep going, right? There's nothing wrong with being positive, or setting prizes, you know, like if you just get Success Club 6, you can get a headband, you know, like all of that stuff, super exciting and fun, and there's nothing wrong with it. But when we are only just, where positivity can sometimes mask what's really going on, okay? So, and I hope that making sense a little bit? And we just covered up with just like these little positive sayings, or a prize that we can get that we're excited about for is short-lived. And one of the things he said, he's like, it's like telling someone who has cancer, here, just take some Tylenol, you'll feel better. It'll make you feel better. We don't want to just feel better. We want to get better, right? We don't want to just feel better. We want to get better. And so what we need to try to do is learn how to break through that barrier wall. And so maybe you've said, like, I'm going to be an elite coach next year, and I'm going to walk that stage. That sounds awesome, right? Like, yes, I want to do that. But there's also that subconscious is like, oh man, like, I'm saying that out loud, but do I really believe that I can do that? And so if you want, what we want to get to is, if you want something bad enough, you have that will to win, you will break through that wall. So no matter what negativity or negative person that comes at you, it's not going to affect you. But what the thing is, we're battling with ourselves. That's the hardest part about setting goals, right? It's like we set these goals, we're excited about it, but we're also battling with ourselves. So while we have that barrier, it's protecting us from some of those bad subconscious limiting beliefs. So instead of using, when we have negative thoughts, just masking it with positivity, which comes from emotion, okay, we want to use logic to learn to break down those walls, okay? So an example would be, okay, so someone tell me a limiting belief that they have about coaching, about building your team. What's a belief that you have that you feel like might be holding you back? Could it
Am
be?
I unmuted?
Who?
Can you hear me?
Carol? Yes, you're unmuted.
Okay. I would say that I don't know how to, I don't know enough or aren't good enough to be able to guide someone to do what I haven't done yet, like building a team.
Okay. So what do you feel like that you don't know?
I mean, I wrote down some questions, things that I've been struggling with, over the past few weeks. And it's simply like, how do you motivate people? Mm-hmm. How, like, I just don't know how, except like, come on, let's do it. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like, I can be a cheerleader, but I don't really know what else to do to actually get into somebody's mind and give them some kind of motivation, even though I know it's what they want.
Right. And you should encourage and motivate your team. Absolutely. I'm not saying not to do that.
Right. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like, that's not enough. Like, they're like, oh yeah, you're right. But then nothing.
Yeah. So that's where he talked about coming up with some sort of action that you're doing. So instead of saying like, because I am, what's the action that you're going to do? I'm building a team, or I know how to lead my team. Does that make sense? So because I am constantly learning myself and plugged into personal development and growth, I am equipped to lead my team. Like he shared an example of how his biggest fear, I thought this was a good example to you guys kind of get the point. His biggest fear is, okay, as a push coach, he has to be able to, he gets paid talking to people, right? He gets paid to teach something. And so he's like, my biggest fear is running out of things to say. And so that was a limiting belief he had to work on. So his affirmation is, because there are people writing hundreds of personal development books, there is tons of content for him to be able to learn. He will never run out of things to say. So as long as he is reading constantly and he's listening to things, he'll never run out of things to say. So using logic to help push through some of those emotions, rather than trying to just mask it with saying, I'm a great recruiter. Well, because I am posting consistently on social media and sharing my coaching journey, I will be able to attract the right people to my team. Something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's something to work on for sure. Anybody else have something to share? But Carol, I wanted to ask you this too, because someone else said on the call, her limiting belief was just not feeling like she was a great leader. And so he asked her, what do you think a great leader is? Who's someone to you that you feel like is a great leader?
I guess it's everything that I think I'm not.
Oh my gosh. And we don't see that at all.
I do think I am a great leader in some ways, but I guess you're right. It's just always in the back of my head. I'm thinking of all my like faults and the things that I'm not strong in. You know, like just the organization side of it. That's probably my biggest downfall, is I feel like I don't have a specific system in place. So I really need to work on that. And then I would feel a lot better and more equipped when I have someone join.
Yeah. So flip that affirmation to saying what you're going to do, what actions that you are taking so that you are a great leader.
Yeah,
You know,
that makes sense. Absolutely.
yeah. And like he said, you know, think of like Ellen DeGeneres, for example. Like has she ever taught anybody how to build a business? No, not that we know of, right? But
No.
does she help lead people? She encouraging? Right? She is. So just like we lead people in our challenge groups, you know, we encourage them, we motivate them, we're leading them. And so, I mean, we as coaches, we're helping people build a business too. So, but she's considered a great leader, you know, of people. Who else is out there? Oprah. You know, I don't know if Oprah's ever taught anybody to build a business. Do you? I have no idea.
Very true.
But we see her as a leader, you know. So give yourself some credit. If it makes you feel any better, I mean, I'm constantly trying to figure all that out too. So, I mean, no, I think and it's funny because the more you surround yourself in groups like this, and then, I mean, I'm in some groups with coaches who are, you know, well up in the company, we all have the same struggles. You know, we all have to work on those limiting beliefs. And that makes me feel better to know I'm not alone, you know, and we'll share things that are going on or what we're struggling with, or how do you handle this situation or respond to this person? I mean, we all help each other. And it's just good to know that there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You can't expect yourself to know all the answers because we're always growing. We're all a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway. All right. So I want you guys to work on those affirmations. Figure out what are some limiting beliefs that you keep saying that are subconsciously there, and then try to write it with some logic to help you work through it, like what you're going to do. Let's see. I wrote one the other day that was good. So because I set goals that include others' success, I'm able to live out my life vision and my life mission all in one. The most unselfish thing I can do is to be selfish enough to also move myself forward so I can inspire and teach others to do the same thing. That makes sense. So because I set goals that include others' success, I'm able to live out my life vision and my life mission all in one. I guess we lost Julie. Did she say she had to get off? All right. Well, anybody have anything from the week they want to talk about? No? Okay. Well, work on these. I think the biggest thing is being aware that it's there. Because, okay, if we have, as coaches, we have, you ever feel like you're just like constantly blindsided in the business? Like, oh my gosh, my kid's throwing up. I'm just throwing my day off, or this person's mad at me, or this person blocked me. And it's just like, you know, you're getting hit all day long. And so, but if we are aware that some of the hits are coming, and so in other words, we're aware that negativity is there and it can creep in, then we can learn to know how to combat that, to know how to flip those affirmations and realize that negative talk that's coming in and tell it where to go, and that we can combat it with logic because it's not really true. There's a solution for everything. We just have to figure out what that is. So, All right, y'all. Well, proud of you. I'm glad you're here. And I need to re-listen to that diamond call. I missed part of it, but I think it makes you feel any better. We hear a lot of the same stuff, right? It's like it's
Yes.
repeated. Consistency, personal development, believe in yourself. It's the same thing, right? We just have to do it. And that's another thing we talked about with Josh is like that's the power of being on team calls. And sometimes it is repetitive, just like we have to repeat these positive affirmations in our mind so that it finally gets through. It's like the compound effect. Because otherwise it's like one team call is not going to change your life forever, right? It like might motivate you for a little bit, but constantly listening to it, constantly having personal development in your ear, just like Ashley McClellan talked about last night. I mean, listening to it all day long, it changes your thinking. It just does. Okay, I'll stop talking. Good night, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.